In today's video, we're going to talk about how to successfully begin to use MCT oil, and more specifically C8 oil, which is a more refined version of MCT oil. And what it is basically is caprylic acid. And there's some other um, things after it, but that's what you need to know. And what it is it's derived from either palm oil or coconut oil, and it is what your brain can digest the easiest. It's like high octane brain fuel, and a lot of people confuse MCT oil with C8 oil. It's like junk ethanol gas versus 110 octane racing gas, if you want to look at the comparisons. And the problem with a lot of it, both of these, is when people start taking it, they get sick to their stomach. And I mean, this is bad. If you've ever had it, it tears up your gut for hours. And but I think that I've come up with a protocol on how to do it, because I've tried this a couple of times without success. And this time I've been on this for gosh, 3 weeks or so, and it's working out great, almost a month. So what we have here is there's a difference between MCT oil. First off, you want to forget about MCT oil. Just don't even bother with it. It's crap compared to C8 oil. And I happen to use Mickey ETs. There's a couple other brands. I've just tried this one. I've stuck with it because I've noticed, like with some brands, I'm kind of sensitive to a lot of things. So this is the one that I found online, had a bunch of information on it, and so I've stuck with it. And I'm actually going to interview the guy that came up with this here shortly, as soon as we can get our schedules arranged. So one of the big differences is that if you look here at, this is the regular MCT oil, you're looking at 140 calories per tablespoon. And then if you look at straight C8 oil, you're looking at only about 92.5. Okay, now that's a big difference. And if you can lower your caloric intake, and I'm not normally don't give a crap about that with IF or keto, but it just shows you that there's a huge difference between the two oils. And so here's the protocol that you can use, and this has worked wonderfully well. Buy some good stainless steel teaspoon assortments, and they usually come in quarter teaspoon. They go up in increments all the way up to this big bad boy here, which is 1 tablespoon. And it doesn't matter whether it's dry or wet weight, it's close enough. Okay, there is a difference, and most people don't know that, but there's a dry tablespoon and then there's a wet tablespoon. But for our purposes, it really doesn't matter. If you want to get become a stickler for it, you can. The big thing is to the reason why this messes up your stomach is because well, there's a whole host of them, because you're putting a little bit of acid in there, but primarily it's because one of the big reasons is why it kills off the candida, or the yeast, in your intestinal tract. In fact, if you've got a yeast infection, this is what you want to eat. It will, at least in your intestines, and it just absolutely kills them. And one of the byproducts is when you kill off a bunch of yeast is it gives off, when it dies, it decomposes rather quickly. And that's part of the reason why it causes gastrointestinal distress. So here's the cure for it. And one, I never suggest until you get up to speed on this to take it raw. So you can get some good butter. This is Kerrygold, which is, you want to, unless it specifically says that it has no RBST in it, which is a growth hormone, which is bad for men and women. I mean, it's been connected to all kinds of things. And this is not I'm not giving you medical advice, but man boobs, women having problems with their periods and everything else. I mean, this is some nasty stuff, and it's allowed in the US, but it's not allowed in Europe. So go Europe. And actually in most of the rest of the world, I think it's been outlawed because it causes all kinds of issues. So the key is you want to take either a dollop of butter before you start taking this, and or what I do is I have I've got access to cows. Okay, so we've got like 22, I think we're up to 22 herd. We're probably going to have probably another 4, because 4 more calves ready to pop out here any minute. So, but anyway, you need to get something in your stomach first. I found that it helps. It's just like taking a vitamin on an empty stomach. You know, it just makes you want to hurl. And the same thing with this. If you've ever had that effect before, if you do C8 oil, in fact, we're gonna get rid of this. I'm actually using, this is actually a pretty good lubrication oil on stuff for outside. So that's what it's gonna be pushed off to. I'll never touch that plain old MCT oil again. And so anyway, you want to take you can scrape off some butter here, and I don't use this. I just use this for cooking and stuff. But although this is a great source for butter, if you have it, or if you can get organic butter that doesn't have any RBST. Because see, the problem is with even if it says organic butter, they pasteurized and homogenized the crap out of it, so it's not really any good. And then, so what you can do is, the first thing is you start off with a 1/4 teaspoon for the first 3 or 4 days. Okay, that's it. Because they tell you to take 1 to 3 tablespoons a day. You do that, you will wreck your gut. And I know a lot of people on here have had the same issue that I have, and you don't want to do that. The other thing is, if you don't have access to your own cows like I do, which I will show you a source where you can buy something called a herd share. You can get actually raw milk, which is the absolute best way to drink any dairy products. There's a couple brands, and I bought this specifically for this video. This is Atlanta Fresh, half and half. Non-GMO, non-BST, yada, 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 never homogenized. Now that's a big thing, because when they homogenize it, they rip the proteins apart, and it causes an immune reaction into you, amongst other things. And typically too, they'll low pasteurize, depending on what state you're in. There's a couple other brands I found that they have low heat pasteurization, and you don't really want to do that either. Let me see, is everything there? Yeah, and the FDA warning is a joke. No RBST is tested for antibiotics. FDA has determined that no difference between cows treated with and without RBST. Although every other freaking country in Europe has said it's dangerous to eat. But that's, anyway, that's the FDA. Nothing against you guys, it's just I disagree with that particular issue. So anyway, and the best thing to do, and what I would do, is if I'm traveling and I can't bring my own milk with me, which you can't, is to use about a tablespoon of this. I just drink it. I just put it in a tablespoon, and I drink it first, and then I hit up my C8 oil. And what it does is it helps your stomach be able to tolerate it. And you can see it's only got 60 calories in it. That's 1 tablespoon, and it does have 1 gram of sugar in here, so just be aware of it. And as long as you can put this in your, I also put this in my coffee too now, since my tolerance has gone up. But the big thing is, start out with this for 3 or 4 days, then gradually move up until you can get to 1 or 2 tablespoons. I only put 1 tablespoon in my coffee in the morning, or I just drink it first after I have cream with it, and it slowly builds up your tolerance. And what happens is you slowly kill off the bad candida in your stomach and the bad guys. So that's it. This is way longer than I wanted it to be, but you know, that's how it goes. But this stuff is great. C8 oil is high octane brain fuel, and it really, really, really works well. So if you can try it and just do this methodology, start out slow, eat or drink some cream, or eat. This is half and half, which if you look at it, it's not even too bad here. The ingredients, it's only got 40 calories. It's actually 20 calories per tablespoon, because the dosage is 2 tablespoons, but it's got 1 gram of carbohydrate. So if you're not cool with that, then don't do it. You can just stick with the butter. Just whip off a pat, put it in your mouth, let it melt first, and do the C8 oil. And it's been great. The only time I've had an issue was when I said, oh, the heck, it was like 4 days into it or 5 days into it, I decided to do my C8 oil without this, and guess what? It was bad, but it wasn't as bad as it was before, because I built up some, I don't know if immunity, resistance, or being able to handle it. But I don't do it without having either butter or cream, or I'll even try, I've tried the half and half too, and it seems to work as well. It's just you need something in your stomach first before you do this. So anyway, that's it. Andrew Anderson signing off. Go IF, go keto, and go 6 gear. There's some more cool stuff coming your way, and hope you're enjoying yourself. And please, if you have your story about IF, share it here so you can inspire other people to get where I've gotten, which is 6 gear every day, where you wake up fully energized and you just want to kick butt all day. And anyway, have a great weekend or whatever day this is, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.